You know, this film is so good that it is so thought-provoking at the same time. Let's review The Heretic. What's up, Hellraisers? Welcome back to yet again another movie review. And today's movie is a real good one because, man, I had to watch this movie 3 times just to even get some thoughts together on what the hell did I watch, what the fuck did I enjoy, and what the hell am I going to talk about on this video, because this is one of those films where I truly have to say it takes multiple rewatch to actually understand what the hell we just witnessed. And I watched this movie 3 times. And with that being said, I think I have enough to come on here and say that this movie is definitely worth the watch. So if you got HBO Max, this is the best place to experience this movie. And make sure you turn it up too, because there's a lot of talking, but there's a lot of explanation and a lot of things you have to do a lot of understanding on. But before we get into all the good, the bad, and the ugly, let me give you a little plot of what this movie is about. Excuse me. This movie tells a story about 2 sisters, non-sisters, that goes to this very strange man's house who wants to learn more about religion and their religion. And little by they know, he got some tricks up his sleeve. All he wants to do is just play a cat and mouse game with these 2 girls. And things turn sinister right before their eyes. To kick things off with my first pro, I would have to say Hugh Grant's performance as Mr. Weed is so fucking creepy and absolutely great, because what he gives to this character, Mr. Weed, is the biggest reason why you will watch this film, because he is so charismatic, he's so charming, he's so romantic, and everything that he has to do to make you believe that this character is real, he does a fantastic job for what the writers and the director wanted him to do, and he did a good job on what he thinks the character needed to do to be so creepy. And I think he did a fantastic job, because there's a lot of moments in the movie where I actually felt like he was talking to me. That's how creepy he actually was in this film. I enjoy him in this movie. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the only time I would say that he actually had me on the edge of my own fucking seat. Sitting on my bed watching this movie, sitting up like this, like, oh my God, this guy is so creepy. I think he knew how to be exactly what he had it to be. When he was reading the script, which we'll get back to, he knew exactly what the character needed. To be creepy at times, to be charming at times, to be romantic and characteristic. And I think he did a fantastic job. And another pro for me would have to be our other 2 leads. I'm going to try to say their name. But Sophia Cracker. And then you got Chloe E. I think they did a fantastic job. One of their names was Sister Bond, and the other name was Sister Paxton. I would say they did a fantastic job only feeding off the performance of Hugh Grant. If it wasn't for him, I don't even see how they would even do a great performance with a type of film like this. You know what I mean? And I think that they did a good job. So you got Sister Bond, who is more of the hard hitter, who like to challenge Mr. Weed on everything that he's saying. He very skeptic about a lot of things associated with religion. Then you got Sister Paxton, who's much more of the shy, soft-spoken girl, who's not looking to challenge him, just wants to listen to his thoughts and then observe everything that he's saying. That's until we get to the end of the film, which we're not going to spoil, because the movie only been out on HBO Max for just, like a month, 2 months or so. I'm not looking forward to spoiling this movie. I wish people just go in and experience this movie for yourself. It's worth your time. It's 2 hours, but it's worth your fucking time, I promise. Going along with that pro, I actually do like how they challenge him on the things that he believes in. You know, he's not very high in a religion man or a lot of religion. And so I do like how they quiz him and he quizzing them, and then they going back and forth on like pop culture references. They talk about Wendy's, like the Wendy's restaurant. They talk about the board game Monopoly. They talked about like set in a lot of those things. They talked about like things that we all can relate to in a lot of reasons. And I think that's what's interesting about this movie. It's a lot of talking, but it's so relatable, which we'll get back to in the dialogue section. But it's just so relatable for the stuff that they actually talk about. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, I actually didn't notice that myself. I knew this, but I didn't know that. And so while I'm being so invested on what I'm watching and what I'm listening to, I'm actually quizzing myself and doing a little bit of overthinking myself, like, yeah, why do I believe in certain things, you know? And I do like that because as an audience member, I'm pretty sure all that stuff was intentional. To go along with that, Mr. Weed didn't actually care about nothing these girls were saying. He just reeled them in and he wanted them right where he got them, and he here to execute his plan. I really did enjoy the cat and mouse game between the two girls and Mr. Weed. Throughout the entire runtime of the film, no spoiler, this is just something that you have to know going into the film. There's a lot of talking. And so, through physical movement and the words that they say, it's basically the cat and mouse game. So they go to his house, he reels them in, say that his wife is there, and then some icky shit happen where he brings this candle into sight. And this is something that filmmakers don't do. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a particular scene in the film where they show him with something that they want you to pay attention to. And when they reveal it to you, it is shock-provoking. Then there's another time where old school camera trick, they would like show something off in the corner and then aim the camera back at our characters, our main leads, and then they would never go back to it until the girls until Mr. Reed coming to play with it. That is old school camera work that we don't see a lot of directors doing, and I wish we go back to that. And another thing y'all really never heard me talk about on my channel before, but this is probably the first time I ever said that, at least that I could remember, is that I love the sound design of this movie. I wrote a couple of them down that I heard with my own ear. Heavy rain, heavy wind, raining in general, the footstep that, like when you walk on the floor, you can literally hear their shoes smack the concrete. You can hear the floor squeak. You can hear like little random noise in the background. Like for example, you can literally hear like a pipe squeak as well. You can hear like the water drop. And I'm looking like this movie, the sound design is so fucking phenomenal in this movie. They did a fantastic job. That's why I said turn this shit up, because you need to pay attention to every little sound, and it's so satisfying to hear. And another pro for me would have to be this movie is beautifully shot. I mean, this movie looked amazing. There's like things that they will show you off in the distance, and it's just so satisfying to see. There's like scenes where like they will keep the camera focused on one of our main leads, and then whatever they show you, you only get to see it through the eyes of our two leads, which is the two girls that we only are following the movie through. And so whatever they see, we get to see it in real time. I love that. It is just a fresh breath of air to see that, oh my God, directors actually know how to shoot a fucking scene. You just have to watch the movie to know what I mean, and pay attention to little details like that. My final pro would have to be, I already touched on it, is the dialogue. So throughout the entire runtime of the film, there's a bunch of talking going back and forth. And so they basically quizzing each other, messing around with each other, popping a few jokes, pop culture references here and there. And every single time it does that, it's like you get more and more and more invested on what they're trying to tell you. The story never seems like it's going far away from the conversation that they're having. I'm going to tell you right now, this script was written so tight. I'm talking about they wrote this script and they made sure that they had a bunch of people overlooking the script and say, how can we make this script feel so believable? Because the way it was written, to me, it looked like they didn't drop the ball once. And they actually wanted this script to be understandable and relatable at the same time. Very thought-provoking. Like, it literally things that you've heard people talk about, even you talked about, or some friends or family that you hold off in the distance talking about. And it's like, damn, why is this movie so relatable to me? Like, why do I understand what's actually going on here? And to me, like I said before, I said again, those are conversations that can be explored, which is why I watched this movie 3 times. Now, moving on into the myths, it's not a con. It's just something that just kind of bugged me just a little bit after watching the movie 3 times, is that this is not much of a spoiler, okay? This is something to do with the editing itself. So there's a scene in the movie where one of the sister Paxton is running. And the camera do this cool trick where it's following up behind her, and all of a sudden the camera kind of like aim up like above her head, and then it aim out of the room of like a board game that Mr. Weed was making, and it showed her running on the board game as she was running in real life in the movie. And I think that's a cool little transition, a cool little edit, but they never went back to. They only showed it that one time throughout the entire movie. And I'm looking like, damn it, that's a cool fucking edit. Why didn't we not do more of that? I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm just nitpicking too hard, but that's my only little myth. It's like I said, it's not a con. I still love the movie. My grade for this movie would have to be an A-. I give this movie a fucking A-. My overall thought is that The Heretic is a crazy ass fucking movie, and it goes in a lot of directions that you never see coming. It pulls the rug from underneath your feet. It keeps you on edge. The script is so fucking well written. The movie is beautifully shot. I would say, if you haven't seen this movie, you have to check it out. I highly recommend this movie. So, if you want to get in touch with your boy, social media link will always be in the description down below. And I hope to catch you HELLRAISERS in my next video. But remember, drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that fucking bell notification so that when I drop another lit video for the channel, you'll be the first ones to get it. And I hope to catch you HELLRAISERS in the next video. Peace.